No franchise is free of the scourge of Nepo babies, and we're here to name and shame all of the Okay, that's not at all what this is going to be. It's sometimes fun just to be able to sit there and go, wait, hang on, I know them. They're related to that person. And that's what we're going to do with this. We're going to have a little bit of fun seeing what family connections we have in Star Trek. With that in mind, I'm Sean Ferrick for TrekCulture, and here are 10 Star Trek Nepo babies. Number 10, Keegan Delany. Keegan Delany appeared in Star Trek Voyager as Q, the son of, well, Q. His father is of course the infamous John Delancey, so father and son got to share the screen in Q2. The episode was Delancey's last on-screen appearance, after which he stepped away from acting. He began working with the International Organization for Migration. As part of his work, he monitored the exodus of Christian families from Iraq to Kurdish regions after an attack against a church in Baghdad left many dead. He has been inducted into the US Foreign Service as well. To get the role of Q Jr., Delancey had to audition against several other prospective performers, earning the part after proving he was the best person for it. He went on to study in both the University of North Carolina and the Cassid Institute. In 2012, he took part in an auction of his father's underwear for charity, raising them over and onto his head, just to prove they'd been worn. Number 9, Daniel Stewart. Daniel Stewart is the son of Patrick Stewart. Both appeared together in The Inner Light, wherein Daniel played Bataille, the son of Patrick Stewart's Cayman. This was not the first role that Daniel auditioned for in Star Trek, though it has gone down as something of a deep moment in the franchise's history. Not only do father and son appear on screen, playing father and son no less, but Bataille is a musician. He plays a tune on the Ressican flute that fans of Star Trek Picard would come to know very well. The passage that he plays formed the basis for the opening theme of the first and second seasons of Picard, ensuring that this was one role in Stewart's repertoire remaining at the forefront of fans' memories for decades to come. Outside of Trek, both Stewarts would appear together again in Patrick's recent show, Blunt Talk. Number 8, Adam Nemoy. Adam Nemoy, son of the late Leonard Nimoy, has directed 2 episodes of Star Trek to date, as well as directing and producing the documentaries For the Love of Spock and What We Left Behind. His connection to the franchise extends back to its beginning, though he revealed in For the Love of Spock that, like many teenagers, he rebelled against his father in his younger years, though they thankfully reconciled long before the latter's death. Adam directed Rascals and Timescape, and was keen to direct episodes of Deep Space Nine, though that never came to fruition. He did, however, marry Terry Farrell in 2018, which may ease the burn of never getting to direct her in an episode. His obvious connection to Spock aside, he invited Zachary Quinto to narrate For the Love of Spock, further bringing both the original character and Kelvin Spocks together. Nimoy is still an active director in television, so it is possible that his name may appear on Star Trek screens again. Number 7, Melanie Shatner. Melanie Shatner made her movie debut in Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. Though she received no credit for her role, she was the female jogger who was almost blown away when the cloaked bird of prey takes off. She would, however, return in the following film for a different role. Star Trek V: The Final Frontier sees Melanie play the captain's yeoman, standing ready with his jacket when Kirk arrives on the bridge. The film is, of course, directed by none other than William Shatner himself, who happens to be her father. Since this appearance, she has gone on to appear in several more films and television programs. Several of these have featured other members of her family, with Tech War being one such example. In 1988, she appeared in an Oldsmobile commercial where she advertised the car before her father beamed in to sit alongside her. She has since moved away from acting and, in 2000, she opened her own store in Los Angeles. Number 6, Hayley Todd. Hayley Todd is best known in Star Trek circles for her superb performance as Lal in The Offspring. Her Trek family connection is a little different from many others on this list, as she is the stepdaughter of Guy Raymond. Raymond portrayed the beleaguered barman and trader in the original series episode, The Trouble with Tribbles. Todd was already an established performer before her episode of The Next Generation, having appeared in such programs as The Golden Girls and Murder, She Wrote. She continued acting after she hung up her android boots, while also finding time to become a published author, and also starring as Jo McGuire, Lizzie McGuire's mother, between 2001 and 2004. Her performance as Lal was lauded for offering depth and sympathy to her robotic character. The Offspring quickly became one of Trek's most discussed episodes, dealing with the themes of gender and identity in 1990, making it one of the earliest mainstream attempts to tackle this hot-button topic. Number 5, John Briones. For a bit of fun, let's flip the script for a second. We're going to introduce a Nepo parent. John Briones appeared in Star Trek Picard episodes Penance and Assimilation as the Confederation Magistrate and husband of President Annika Hansen. He is also the father of Picard regular actor Issa Briones, who played Daj, Soji, Sutra, and Kore. Briones has a long career in both musical theatre, with his debut in Miss Saigon in 1989, and television. He appeared with his daughter in American Crime Story, The Assassination of Gianni Versace, as well as American Horror Story, Apocalypse. In 2019, Briones was the recipient of the Visionary Award from the East West Players, which is a celebration of performers who highlight Asian Americans through their work. Number 4, Rachel Robinson. Rachel Robinson appeared in, full disclosure, my favourite episode of Star Trek, The Visitor. She plays Melanie, an aspiring writer who seeks an elderly Jake Sisko one rainy night. She is the daughter of Deep Space Nine regular guest actor Andrew Robinson. Robinson's character and story are based on the 1980 interview that then reclusive author J.D. Salinger gave to a high school student who just turned up at his door one night. Though this would be her only appearance in Star Trek to date, she left such a mark that director David Livingston recalled her blowing every other auditionee out of the water. Though she has continued to act in several productions since, she's moved into singing and songwriting. She was, however, at one point one of the frontrunners to play Ezri Dax in the 7th and final season, though she lost the role to Nicole DeVere. Number 3. Andrew Koenig. Andrew Koenig, son of Walter and of Judy Leavitt, appeared in the Deep Space Nine episode Sanctuary, playing the character Tumak. He was born Joshua Andrew Koenig and, as a young boy, inspired Harlan Ellison to write one of his most well-known short stories, Jeffy is 5. Ellison confirmed that Koenig was his inspiration based on the boy's innocence, sweetness, and questioning nature. He may perhaps have been best known for his activism, as during his life he campaigned on many human and ecological rights issues. He was arrested for protesting the US involvement in the 2008 Beijing Olympics, primarily due to the Chinese government's treatment of the state of Burma and support of Burma's military junta, a government led by a committee of military leaders. Andrew was well known as a comedian with an improvisational style and was a regular contributor to a comedy podcast before his death in 2010. Number 2. Christian Slater. Christian Slater was, at the time of his casting, one of the biggest actors in terms of notoriety to ever set foot on a starship in Star Trek. He appears as an unnamed lieutenant aboard the USS Excelsior, tasked with informing Captain Sulu that Starfleet is looking for the Enterprise A in Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country. Slater's appearance was both a fun cameo and a bit of a favour that went both ways. His mother, Mary Jo Slater, was the casting director for the film. He is an enormous Star Trek fan and later confessed to Graham Norton that the uniform he wore in his scene was the same one worn by William Shatner in the second film, which Slater then nicked. Number 1. Mika Burton. Mika Burton portrays Alandra LaForge in Star Trek Picard, the daughter of Geordi, played by her real-life father, LeVar Burton. Though this was her first on-screen character in Star Trek, she had hosted and co-hosted several digital Trek events in 2020 and 2021. Burton has been a successful professional cosplayer for several years, which in turn has led to widespread recognition online. She provided voiceover work for video games as well as hosting many Dungeons & Dragons events. For the latter, this has led to collaborations with the enormously popular Critical Role. Her success has led to several hosting positions with Wizards of the Coast, as well as Critter Hug for Critical Role. If Star Trek Legacy is finally given the green light, the hope is that both Sydney and Alandra LaForge will be stationed on the Enterprise G, with Burton returning in a regular role. That is everything for our list today, folks. What did you think? Do you reckon there's any of these names that you knew or didn't know? And is there any that you reckon we've missed? Let us know in the comments below. I have, of course, been Sean. You can find us over on Twitter and Blue Sky and TikTok at TrekCulture. We're on Instagram at TrekCultureYT. I am at Sean Ferrick on the various socials as well. I hope you will consider giving me a follow. Look after yourself until I talk to you again. You are awesome, you are wonderful, and you know what? You deserve all the best. Thanks very much.